What up, YouTube? This is Daniel Rucker with True Table. Welcome to the table. We're going to go in today and talk about a topic that I believe is absolutely necessary. And that is, should women listen to men about relationships? Yeah. So, before I get started, go ahead and subscribe. Go ahead and hit that like button. Get the notification bells popping so that you can continue to connect with me as I can continue to connect with you guys on things about like topics like this, relative conversations, and things that need to be addressed. So go ahead and hit that like button. Go ahead and share. I appreciate it. I'm going to go ahead and step into the kitchen, and we're going to get cooking in here. We're going to get cooking. Yes. Okay. So I had stumbled across this YouTube channel, Lil Peep Let's Talk, probably a couple months ago. Good content. Go ahead and look the brother up. He always has a panel of collective mindsets, women and men on there. They're always discussing things relative to this space. And one of their topics was, should women listen to men about relationships? Should women listen to men? And I'm like, yeah, duh, at least how I see it. Now, what I found so interesting, and I continue to find interesting, is now that I'm a content creator and I'm bringing my content and bringing, things into this space. I have a TikTok, I have an Instagram, and what I usually do is I do little snippets on TikTok to help segue into the show over here about topics. And why this stood out to me is because the headliner is things I experience when I convey my thoughts or convey my opinions on my respective channels. A lot of women that I don't know respond and be like, well, I'm sick and tired of men telling us what to do. I'm tired of, how can a man say that what a woman should be doing? And I found it interesting because I'm like, if you want to be in a relationship with a man, if the information is relevant to you, pertains to you, then yeah. And if it doesn't, then move the heck down the road. Like, you don't have to listen if it's not relative to you. But if it's relative to you and you trying to create some level of success, I would think that you would listen to men, myself, and others that are in this space trying to bring a certain perspective. Because one thing I know I've experienced in my own life is that women will say men don't talk or they don't talk enough. And what I found, that's not true. Men actually do talk. They talk a lot. Some maybe not as much as myself, but this is just a gift God gave me. But anyway, men do talk. But what I also found is that they won't continue to talk if they're not given a space to convey their thoughts without being attacked, without being ridiculed, without being, antagonized. And that is the difference in our, how men communicate and how women communicate. Men communicate in a way that is more informational based. They do a lot of exchanging information or instruction. Sometimes it can come across a little controlling. I'll admit that. But if you know the heart of the brother, most of the time, men don't waste their time talking just to be negative or just to be, cruel or malicious. That's not most men's nature, in my opinion. Women that are not used to conversing with men, that are not used to understanding how to exist and flow and work, and pair with the man, struggle right here in this space. Right here in this particular space, they struggle. Because what they are accustomed to is now making the communication that is humanistic communication just based on their experience, and it usually is with women. They are used to hearing the voice of a woman, the compassion of a woman, the intellect of a woman, and now they're comparing that to men. That's wrong. You're always going to miss it when you do that, because men do not communicate like women communicate. Men collectively are not so much concerned about how you feel when we speak. What we're concerned about is getting our point across to try to create some dialogue and get the information flowing. Open it up. Things like that. So anyway, back to the core point. I think that if you're a woman and you're trying to have a successful relationship with a man, why wouldn't you listen to men? And I heard several panelists, I heard several women throughout the space that is YouTube and different podcasts specifically say, well, I'm only going to listen to my man, or I'm going to listen to the man that I'm with. I thought that was stupid. I thought that was very ignorant. How can you be well versed in the space that is men, in the world that is men, if all you do is isolate your experience with one man? I think that there is a disconnect on how some women go about trying to arrive at a space of awareness. What do I mean by that? I think that a lot of women just think because they're women and the world tells you you're awesome and the world tells you you're just perfect without flaw, that you have such an ego relevant to interacting with a man. There's this convinced kind of mindset that, well, I'm good, I'm great, he's gonna show up, he's gonna recognize my amazing nature, and then everything's just gonna fall in place. Everything's just gonna fall in line. He's gonna care about how I feel, he's gonna do everything to make me smile and make me happy, he's gonna put me first. I'm here to tell you, ladies, that's nonsense, that's BS. If you want to really know how men look at relationships, if you want to really know how men collectively, we're talking about general. I'm not talking about those anomalies. I'm not talking about your cousin's friend across town who is, the exception to the rule. What do you call it? An anomaly in the sphere, right? I'm talking about in mass. Most men operate a certain way. And most of the time, I think that because women are not doing their homework on men. See, they understand we want sex. They understand we want to eat. They understand we sleep. We usually like things like video games and sports. And they create a very small box, like a very small box for most men. I've actually had this experience personally throughout my life because I'm a man that does not really care to participate in watching sports. And, I don't drink, I don't smoke. Video games, not since I was like 14, 15. But anyway, and so what has happened, even in my personal experience, is that some women, because they're so used to a certain blueprint of a man, they think we all are the same in that sense. And in the case, no. So anyway, back to my point. Men like myself, men like Kevin Samuels, MTR, Coach Ray Adams, AMS, Roommates, Fresh and Fit, all of these gentlemen collectively are trying to put out information to give men and women information to make them more aware and best suited for situations that you might encounter. What I find interesting, especially on Fresh and Fit, their podcast is pretty cool. Night after night, they have a panel of women from all different walks of life, all different ages, all different nationalities. And night after night, these women do not have a clue on how we men think. And to me, that's scary because we live in a world now that information is literally at your fingertips. Like whatever you want to find out about, whatever you want to inform yourself about, you should be able to find that information, with a few clicks. But what's so crazy is that girls know all types of information about hair and nails and bronzers and, straps and waist trainers and diet. They have an abundance amount of information when it comes to that crap. They have not a clue when it comes to men. Now, ladies, what I think would be best suited for someone who is obviously interested in being with a man is you may want to start to listen to men. You may want to open your ears, open your eyes, open your spirit to the knowledge and the information that men are giving out. And do it with a multitude of men. Do it with younger men, do it with older men, do it with middle-aged men, do it with men from other nationalities, and start to compare and contrast. Because what I found is that when you want to try to find the best deal, right? If you're shopping for a car, you're shopping for a house, if you're in a market for something large, what most people do is they do a market analysis, and they look at different cities, and they look at different years if you're talking about cars, and they look at all of the features and the amenities that come with these things, and then they figure out what's the best price for what they're looking for. Well, ladies, it's the same thing with men. In order for you to figure out what is best suited, one, you got to know what really is going on with men. You know, one thing Kevin Samuels has been pivotal in pointing out is that women don't even have a clue of how much money most men make from age brackets, you know, from out of college to their respective careers. How many men are your high earners? How many men on average, what the median income is? By mass, these women have no clue. It's just assumed that because we're out here in the world and we may have a job or a couple of jobs or whatever, that we're making all this money and we're in a position to necessarily take on, you know, certain loads of responsibility. And I'm just using that as an example because to me, again, that's scary to assume that you think you know what's going on, but you're not asking questions. And that's one of the things I have put on my TikTok the other day. Why don't women start asking men more questions? Ask men more questions, shut up, and let him talk. Hear what he has to say. And what I think happens is that when men start to tell women what they want, most women cannot digest or receive what men are saying because it's so different than what they think we want. Ladies, newsflash, we're not you. We don't want what you want. That's not going to change. All of these freaking movies and these songs and all this BS about how men want to, you know, make you the prize and all. No. Men are very simple. If you want to be successful with a man, if your desire is to pair with the man, partner with the man, be on a man's program, it would behoove you to be informed about how men think. Try it. If you are looking at your life right now and you've had a few relationships, whether they were successful or they weren't, you got to start to really look at the common denominator. Ladies, you got to ask yourself, did I ask enough questions? Was I being realistic? Did I do enough preparation? And what I mean by preparation, did I do enough market research to identify with what kind of man I want, what they actually think like, what they desire, what works, what doesn't, what they don't like? Like, all these things are very much necessary if you're looking to be successful with a man. And if you have the attitude that because you're a woman and I'm a man, and I obviously am not living on the same planet Earth that you are, and I obviously don't have the knowledge to be able to speak on the very thing that is human behavior, you know, then you have to really check yourself and dig deeper to figure out why you're so blocked, like why you're so dismissive on things that can very much well assist you, potentially. What I think it is that a lot of women understand that they are underperforming and that they understand that they are really not up to the task. So they can mask it with all the big booties and the big breasts and the hair and, you know, give this illusion that they're actually a woman in their head and inside. Men can decipher if you're really a woman. They can decipher where your level of development is. And what I think that's really the truth, that a lot of times what happens is that when us men are speaking, we're speaking to the very inadequacy that is you. Well, I'm sorry to tell you, ladies, if you want to be with a man, then you need to be a woman. If you want to have a successful relationship, then it may be good time for you to start to assess where you are in your own development. Grow up. I had an episode to where I said women cannot determine if they're a hoe or not. You have to go ask men, and you have to be honest in what I like about that particular equation is, see, that makes it real. See, what it is that women don't want to be completely honest, in my opinion. because it requires now for somebody to take a survey of your life, take a microscope and look at your crap. But if you're not out here being reckless and foolish, then you shouldn't be ashamed of what they may unveil. So, we're at the 15-minute mark or so. I just wanted to touch in and tap in, jump into the kitchen, serve you guys up a meal before you guys go into your weekend. But ladies, give it a thought. Really, sit back, assess some things, and be honest. If you can't be honest with yourself, you're playing yourself. So, anyway, that's all I'm going to leave you guys with today. This is Daniel Rucker with True Table. Thank you for hanging out with me. I appreciate it. Again, go ahead and hit that like button. Go ahead and subscribe. Go ahead and share the content. And you guys enjoy your weekend. Be safe. And I'm going to jump back in the kitchen, serve up something nice, new, fresh next week. Thank you.